We're in Revelations chapter 7, and it says, "And after these things, I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor on any tree." Now, the first thing we reach is the word after, or meta. Meta is a very difficult word because it has two meanings, and they vastly change in their meaning. One definition is, as we see here, after an event, but the other, however, is with at the same time. The difference, as I was trying to look all this up, seems to be if the word is quote-unquote active. And active is a quality related to nouns and verbs, not prepositions, like the word meta, or at least in English. So I went to the concordance for this time to see if there was anything I could find of use. It's used 473 times in the New Testament, and every single time, because I wanted to look for something, it is labeled as a preposition, never as being active or passive. So I tried to look up an explanation on how to know if it's active or passive, and I found nothing. So I tried calling my wife, because she's got a master's in biblical languages, and I figured if I can't find it, let me ask her. And she said it's actually based on whether it is genitive or accusative. I don't understand that, but thankfully I don't have to. I just have to know someone who does. So, looking at these things, it is accusative, showing that this occurs after the sixth seal, not with the sixth seal. So I went through all that lengthy explanation of how I got to that point, because it's important to know how and why we get to where we are with a word that's used over 470 times, and it's going to be used quite frequently in the upcoming chapters. So after the sixth seal occurs, four angels, which is the same word as pastor in Revelations chapters 1 through 3, but here contextually it would not make sense to be a human messenger, because they would not be able to do what they're about to do, stands on the four corners of the earth. This is one of those verses where people try to claim that the Bible teaches that the earth is flat, that the earth is a square. That is not what the word means here. The word corner is actually gonia, which means a secret place. And we know from Psalm 74:17 that God made the boundaries of the earth, not literal boundaries, because we know that the earth is spherical, but rather these are four key places of the earth that God has marked off as to where they will stand. So, holding the four winds of the earth ends up with a little bit of an oddity. Four is both a number and the symbol of universalness or total coverage. And winds is not just wind, but also empty doctrine. So, some people began to use this to claim that this is a stop to all false doctrine, and that only the truth remains from this point on. I found that theory. So, for people who hold to that, there is a word, three words later in the Greek text that helps us out, and that is pnee, which means would blow. So that no wind would blow, with the word pnee, is specifically to blowing wind, not false doctrine. And I have to ask the simple question from the last word, which is tree. Why would false doctrine be told to a tree? It doesn't fit into the context, not even within the own sentence. So this is where God literally stops the wind from blowing upon everything. Verse 2 says, "And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea." So now you reach another issue, and one that divides a lot of people. This new angel comes from the east, which I kind of find funny because it's originally from the rising of the sun, and it feels kind of like they had to tell people what direction that is. And has the seal of the living God. Now, this seal is not where the issue comes up when I was researching the verse, but rather it is very important. This seal could be one of two different things. One is a signet ring that is proof. And the signet ring is something that would be used to make an impression upon something to mark it as belonging to someone. The other possibility is that the angel bears the mark itself rather than something to mark people with. So then you reach the problem part of the verse. It says, he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Now, these four angels are thought by some to be the four horsemen of the apocalypse because there are four that we've already seen. I would, however, have to respectfully disagree because it is said that they are given the power to hurt the earth and the sea. The first seal did not hurt anything. The second seal only hurt people. The third seal may or may not have hurt the earth. That's debatable. The only thing that is truly known about the third seal is that it destabilizes the economy, which is doable without actually hurting any of the resources. And the fourth seal kills people using the earth. The fifth seal, again, doesn't hurt anybody. And the sixth seal does do a lot of damage potentially by reshaping everything. But again, it's only one seal, and that is not authority being given to anything. And when you see the four angels here, it does say to whom it was given, which the word there is edotha, which means allowed. So they are given the authority and power to do this. So it doesn't really fit with the seals that we've already seen. Instead, I offer forward my own theory that this is the four angels being the first four trumpets. And I say that because the first four trumpets hurt the earth and the sea. The fifth and sixth trumpet are not. So the trumpets, when we get to them, have the first trumpet destroying a third of the trees, the second destroys a third of the sea, the third destroys a third of the rivers, and the fourth destroys a third of the sun, which will directly destroy more plant and animal and sea life. The fifth trumpet, by contrast, has, and it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, nor any green thing, nor any tree. But only those men which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. And the sixth specifies, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, a day, and a month, a year, for to slay the third part of the men. These last two trumpets are specifically told not to hurt the earth or the sea either. So we do have four angels, though, that are given the authority to hurt the earth that have not done so yet. And they are told, in verse 3, they are told, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, which is what they will do, until we have sealed the servants of God in their foreheads. Now, traditionally, and myself is included in this, people put the trumpets alongside the seals, and this poses a conundrum that we'll be looking at soon enough. We're actually just about another chapter away from it. Here, these four angels are told not to hurt anything until after the servants of God are sealed in their foreheads. Again, we see the word seal, meaning that they will be marked, but the word in is on. This will be similar, probably, to how the beast will mark his followers with his seal. And so too will God mark his selected servants with a seal on the foreheads of them, not in their foreheads. If we place the trumpets prior to this event, which John does use meta with an active noun, with an accusative noun, so that it shows the event occurring in time after the sixth seal, we have a possible contradiction. But we'll be looking more in depth at this when we reach the actual trumpets, because it makes no sense in putting the trumpets anywhere when we haven't gotten to them. It is merely some food to chew on and begin thinking of how the case could be presented in the possibly the more traditional sense of coinciding.